talking about your job.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's unpack this blueprint. Our sources, they lay out this super targeted learning strategy, and our mission for you, the listener, is pretty simple.
Mhm.
We're going to expose the precise engineering decisions behind it. The choice of the vocabulary, the ruthless focus on one specific tense, the practice method,
All the little pieces.
all the pieces that create this shortcut to fluency, and I think most importantly, to that immediate feeling of self-assuredness. This isn't just about learning English words.
No, not at all. It's a hack. It's a hack for immediate social functionality. And what's so fascinating here is just how universal this topic is. I mean, think about it.
It's the first question everyone asks.
It's the first question. Asking someone what they do for a living, or even just, what they do with their time, it's the first informational bridge you build when you meet someone new.
And if you can't cross that bridge,
The conversation just stalls, right? It dies. So mastering this tiny, tiny slice of dialogue is such a critical linguistic foundation. It just guarantees high impact communication right from the start.
and the source we analyzed, it presents this as it seems like a really simple conversation.
Deceptively simple. It's just a friendly back and forth between two people. But the key pedagogical choice, the real genius of it, is that the pacing is, it's painfully slow.
Right. And the pronunciation is crystal clear. The language is basically served up on a silver platter for you.
Exactly. This deliberate, slow motion approach is everything for a beginner. It's designed to minimize that deer in the headlights feeling.
We've all been there.
Oh, absolutely. Where a native speaker is just talking way too fast and the beginner is just, completely drowning in information overload.
Right. So it's not just slow, it's intentional. They're catering directly to the needs of the ear,
Yeah.
giving you that processing time you desperately need.
Yes, exactly that. And the context they choose for it all, just a casual chat with friends or maybe meeting a new colleague, it immediately grounds the language in something real.
In real-world utility, you can see yourself using it tomorrow.
Hmm.
And we see that utility in what the dialogue actually covers. It's not just a dry recital of a job title like, I am a doctor.
No, it's much smarter than that.
It forces the learner to talk about the routine of the work, what people actually do every single day and where that action happens.
And focusing on that daily routine, that gives so much context around the action. It makes a language far stickier than just memorizing a list of nouns of job titles.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if we connect this strategy to the bigger picture, what the resource is doing is providing massive cognitive relief. By slowing the pace, they're building linguistic scaffolding.
Scaffolding, that's a great way to put it.
They're basically saying, look, don't worry about complexity yet. Just focus on hearing these basic facts and repeating them.
Okay, so that raises a really important question for me. If the language is so simple, what is the actual goal here? It can't just be about learning a few phrases.
No. And you're right. That's the key question. The real main goal is, without a doubt, confidence. The source material is designed from the ground up to eliminate the anxiety that comes with starting a conversation in a new language.
So it's more psychological than linguistic almost.
In a way, yes. If you can confidently describe your job using these perfect, simple sentences, you eliminate that stage fright. And that immediately unlocks your ability to use all the other vocabulary you're learning.
That brings us perfectly to the core of the architecture they designed. I was almost shocked at how basic the grammar is here. The entire lesson is built around this laser focus on one concept,
The present simple tense.
the present simple tense. But isn't relying just on that a risk? I mean, doesn't the learner immediately hit a wall when they need to talk about, say, their weekend that needs the past tense,
Sure.
or what they're doing right now, which needs present continuous? Is this simplicity really enough to build lasting confidence, or is it just a quick fix?
That's a fantastic challenge, and it goes right to the heart of the whole strategy.
Okay.
The present simple is chosen precisely because it defines facts and routines.
Okay.
It's reliable. Think of it as your linguistic LinkedIn profile. It just states permanent conditions. I work in a hospital. She teaches science.
They're stable truths.
They're stable truths. So the resource is intentionally avoiding the very complexity you just highlighted. If they brought in the past tense, suddenly the learner has to wrestle with irregular verbs.
Right, which is a nightmare for beginners.
It's a total nightmare. And if they introduced present continuous, like I am currently working on a project, the learner now has to figure out the difference between a temporary action and a permanent routine.
Which is a huge point of confusion. I remember that.
It's a massive source of confusion.
So the simplicity is actually a calculated defense mechanism. It's a shield against confusion.
That's a perfect way to put it. Yes.
They sacrifice the ability to talk about complex, time-sensitive events just to give the learner immediate mastery over the core routine facts of their life.
Precisely. They focus on the workhorse of descriptive language.
Hmm.
And the resource is just packed with these practical, immediate examples using this simple structure.
Like what?
Well, phrases like, I work in an office, or I help customers, and the time-specific one, I start work at 9.
And notice how those are complete functional sentences.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they require zero mental gymnastics when it comes to verb conjugation. It's just simple.
It's plug-and-play language.
It really is. And they also introduce these high-frequency action verbs within that same simple framework. I teach, I clean, I answer emails.
All verbs that describe, almost any entry-level or common job.
Exactly. So by pairing the present simple with these specific action verbs, they equip the learner to talk about their actual job instantly without needing a huge vocabulary list.
That focus on efficiency it's brilliant. And it extends right into the questions they train you to ask. You're mastering these simple question forms they're universal openers.
Universal openers in any English-speaking environment.
Yeah, so we found the core questions listeners practice are incredibly direct. Just what do you do?
And where do you work?
That's it.
Those two questions are the verbal equivalent of a skeleton key. They unlock almost any general social interaction.
And the resource pairs these powerful openers with short, natural answers.
Right, which maintains that high-impact communication. It teaches you that you don't need a monologue. You just need 2 or 3 clear sentences to successfully start and, sustain a rapport.
That simple question, simple answer pairing, it must just reduce the mental load so much during a conversation.
It absolutely does. The beginner can focus entirely on clarity and pronunciation, rather than trying to construct some complex grammatical response in real time.
Right.
And that is the mechanism that moves the learner from just thinking about the language to actually using it functionally. It's the fastest route to getting comfortable with the rhythm of a real conversation.
Okay, so let's transition from the structure to the actual content they're using to populate that structure.
Yeah.
Moving into vocabulary, the resource teaches basic job-related nouns, but the selection is, again, it's really strategic and limited.
Very limited.
The specific job titles mentioned are teacher, office worker, shop assistant, and driver. And we have to ask, why these 4? Why not more specialized roles? Why not data scientist or freelance consultant?
That's a great question. And the choice is so deliberate. These roles, teacher, office worker, shop assistant, driver, they represent globally ubiquitous high-frequency jobs.
Jobs you could find anywhere in the world.
Anywhere. They are roles the listener is highly likely to encounter or maybe even hold themselves, regardless of where they are. This just reinforces that focus on immediate cross-cultural simplicity and utility.
So if you're learning English, these are the jobs you're going to hear about or talk about almost every day.
Virtually every day you interact with people. Furthermore, these roles are so easy to visualize and connect to a concrete place.
Right, a shop assistant works in a shop.
A teacher works in a school, a driver works in a car. This episode helps listeners naturally create those strong mental links between the job title and the physical workplace.
Which reinforces memory and context.
Exactly. It makes the language acquisition much more robust than just, studying some abstract list of words. You're building knowledge networks, not just memorizing isolated words.
So they're prioritizing accessibility and a kind of visual grounding over any specialized complexity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're making sure that the new words fit into the listener's established mental world, instantly.
Okay, so now we get to what I think is the most crucial part. The component that separates this from just being a dry textbook. And that's the how-to of practice.
Yes.
This resource demands active participation. It's not passive. Listeners are explicitly told to, and this is a direct quote, pause the audio, repeat the sentences, and practice speaking out loud.
And that instruction to pause and repeat, that is where the passive learning stops and the active muscle memory begins.
It's the rehearsal phase.
It's the rehearsal phase. You're moving from just understanding the script to physically performing it with your own voice.
And they take that repetition one giant step further. Listeners are also encouraged to imagine talking about their own jobs. That personalized application, that self-referencing, that's the catalyst, isn't it?
Oh, it's the absolute psychological turning point. That step imagining your own job and repeating these pre-built sentences with your own information. It moves the language from some abstract grammar rule into a personal, usable, immediate script.
So when they're rehearsing, they're not just saying, I work in an office.
No, they're thinking, I, the learner, work in my office. I help my customers. It becomes real.
And this is what builds that self-assuredness you were talking about earlier.
It has to be, because when that learner finally steps into a real conversation and someone asks, so what do you do? They are not formulating a sentence from scratch.
No, they're not panicking.
They're not panicking. They are pulling up a pre-rehearsed, perfect answer that they have practiced dozens of times. It completely eliminates that moment of panic.
Wow.
And that is how that core confidence, the ultimate goal of the whole thing, is genuinely built and internalized. You've rehearsed your own script for the most common conversational hurdle there is.
We've broken down the architecture.
Yeah.
And it really is a fascinating case study in, I guess, pedagogical minimalism.
I like that. Minimalism.
This learning tool proves that hyperclarity and deliberate, focused repetition, combined with only the most essential, high-frequency words, that's the fastest path.
It's the fastest path to foundational conversational competence for any beginner. The sheer simplicity of the structure, that present simple tense focused entirely on daily routines, that's the source's greatest strength.
It minimizes risk and maximizes successful output.
It's the linguistic shortcut. It really is. By only focusing on facts, the present simple, in a low-stakes setting, like a casual chat.
And ensuring the listener is actively participating.
Yes. Through repetition and self-referencing, they create this high-probability scenario for success in that first critical social exchange. And that immediate success is what snowballs into long-term learning motivation.
Absolutely. So for you listening, you now have the blueprint for how effective basic conversation training is structured. It's all about focusing on a specific, high-value context, a casual chat about work, and pairing it with the single core tense that perfectly supports that context.
The present simple.
The present simple. Add in direct, high-volume practice through repetition and making it about yourself, and you have a clear, engineered path to conversational momentum. So we've mastered the framework for talking about what we do. And if mastering this simple framework for talking about your job really is the linguistic shortcut to confidence, that leaves us with a final thought.
Okay.
What other common daily conversational topics, like hobbies or future plans, or even just ordering food at a restaurant, what other topics could be distilled down to an equally powerful, simple, and repeatable structure? That is something worth thinking about as you continue your own deep dive into language mastery. You can start identifying the next conversational hack you can employ.